Hi there and welcome to PhD at Living. Today we're talking catnip. Catnip comes from the Nepetalactone plant, otherwise known as catmint or catwort. The name obviously comes from the association of turning cats into crackheads. But what does it and why? Come on in. This chemical, nepetalactone, is the active compound in catnip and is a monoterpenoid, which is a type of functionalized regular terpenoid, which come from terpenes, which are a huge class of compounds from plants and some insects that make up a large part of all natural products. Let's take all that in reverse. This is isoprene. You can see it's a 5-carbon diene, and isoprene is the basic structural unit for all terpene compounds. While isoprene itself is never technically used in the synthesis of a terpene, that molecule would be isopentyl pyrophosphate for those of you playing at home. Terpenes are rationalized as having isoprene units just to make things easier to see. At that point, the difference in a terpene class is based on how many isoprene units you have and what kind of functionalization you do. A terpenoid, for instance, has the isoprene backbone, but this methyl group is either shifted or removed, and oxygens are or are not present. A monoterpenoid has that same terpenoid class to it, but we have 2 isoprene units, so we're talking about a class of compounds with 10 carbons, 2 isoprene units with methyls either shifted or completely removed, and maybe some oxygens. Which gets us back to nepetalactone. Interestingly, the idea that the isoprene unit makes up terpene structures was described by 1939 Nobel laureate in chemistry, Leopold Ruzicka. More interestingly, he came up with the idea 14 years after he'd already won the damn prize. As you can see here, the nepetalactone has those 10 carbons of 2 isoprene units, making it a terpenoid, but it also has the oxygens that come along, making it the monoterpenoid. If you remember from our beer discussions, a lot of those compounds in hops had those isoprene or sort of terpene-like units with them. Catnip? More like drunk nip, am I right? Heyo! The mechanism of action for catnip involves the nepetalactone getting into the nasal passages of the cat and being detected by the olfactory bulb, a clump of cells up in the brain that registers certain odors. The effect is not registered in the vomeronasal organ at the front of the nose. Want to know how I know? Because scientists exposed cats to catnip and measured the response. Then they did one of 2 things. They either cut out the vomeronasal organ at the front of the nose, or they cut out the olfactory bulb up in the brain. The ones without the vomeronasal organ, when exposed to catnip again, still went nuts. The ones without the olfactory bulb? Nothing. Response gone. Apologies if you don't like that kind of research, but it's a great way to get definitive data, so... There are ideas out there that the nepetalactone acts like a pheromone that makes cats go wild. But we've talked enough biology for today, so my work here is done. See you next time. Do I look like a cat to you, boy? Am I jumping around all nimbly-bimbly from tree to tree?